Om. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasma Tamha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumuchurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vanshirishibhyo Mahatyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvo Bhaklavarahitaha Prajnanahinaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivanasmi Brahmaivanasmi. Vedanta Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sankapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohatvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyate Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. We will recite the third verse. Vakyarthascha vicharyatam shrutishirah pakshassamashriyatam dustarkat suviramyatam shrutimatastarko nusandhiyatam brahmasmiti vibhavyatam arahar Garvah parityajyatam deheham matiruchyatam utajani vadav parityajyatam. Now, once again, let us recall the objection which has been raised. What is the objection against? The objection is against the abheda, the non-difference shown or non-difference becoming known through this statement. Which statement? Tattvamasi. So, in order for non-difference to be shown, there is a prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? That earlier, the person should be able to see the difference. Because you were seeing the difference, the non-difference was not known, and therefore now through the statement the difference is negated, nullified, and the non-difference is shown. Okay. So where is the difference known? Where, in what are you, amongst what, between what two objects, because for difference you require minimum two things. भेद दो चीजों में रहेगा, तो दो तो चाहिए ही, दो तो चाहिए, एक होगा तो अभेद है। Wherever there is one, it will be abheda. So if you already are able to perceive one, then there is the difference is not there. Right? The non-difference is already seen. Suppose we have only one pot. Okay, there is one pot. Now, can you ever say there is a difference between the pot and the pot? And is a conjugation. So even for that and, you will require the presence of second. So bhed दो चीजों में होगा. Now wherever you are able to see two, only there now we will have a space to say that they are not two. The object really is one, but due to some defect, due to some condition, you are seeing two. For example, a person with some defect in the eye. Okay, sometimes the pressure, you also can try that. Just put a little pressure on your eye ball, and then you will see the image in two things. So sometimes the pressure increases, making you perceive two images. So therefore, when you see two, there is going to be an error of seeing them as two. All right. So there is a condition. What is the condition? A defect, because of which, though the object is one, is perceived as two. Got it? So if the objects are two, and perceiving them as two will be proper knowledge. When the object is one and yet is perceived as two, then it is an error. And for error to take place, a condition should be there. What is the condition over here? That you are able to see two moons just because there was some pressure in the eye. Objects in distance then are seen two. Why? Because the condition is that there is some problem. If the problem is removed, would you still be able to see two? No. Why? Because the object is one. So the knowledge will always correspond to its object. Okay? It will be in tandem with the object. If the object is ghatam, you will know it as ghatam. If the object is patam, you will know it as patam. So ghatajnanam, patajnanam it is corresponding to its respective object. That's why the object is rope, and when you see it as snake, it is an error, because the knowledge does not correspond with it is not in tandem with its object. It is an error. Okay. So when there is the object is one, yet seeing it as two, an error. For an error to take place, a condition is required. Okay. Conditions could be various. But one condition because of which now we are able to see two is because an error, because of ignorance. Now up to this point, we still have to comprehend. Now look at that. What is our job over here? We have to comprehend the Purva Paksha's objection first. If one is able to understand the objection, then the reply given will become not easy. The reply will be seen as befitting. Then only it will go and sit as a jigsaw puzzle. Otherwise, it will be just, some jumbled up things put together. It won't be able to create a clarity for the listener. Okay. What are we aiming at? We want to clearly understand. We want to clearly understand. We are not sitting over here so that we can have some, things to believe in and to go ahead. That is all okay, even if you. And when does the question of belief comes? When you're not able to understand, but you still somehow have to work around it. When is a belief going to work or is going to be an important thing? When you are not able to understand, but you have to work around it. So somehow it has to be accepted. Then what makes you accept that in spite of not understanding, then is called belief. And is belief. So we are aiming at clarity. What I hope, people are able to get this thing, because sometimes you may get a little, hassled up. And I'm not at all in a hurry. Okay. Now, if the object is one, then it should be known as one. If it is one, but is seen as two, then there is a condition which is making this erroneous perception. There is a condition because of which there is this erroneous knowledge. Okay. So now we already are seeing the difference. We are already seeing the difference. Difference between what? So these two things, Jiva and Ishvara. Who is this Jiva? By the very definition, Jiva is Alpa. Now you can add Jnana, Shakti, etc. to it. Who is this Jiva? Alpaha. Alpa Jnana, Alpa Shakti. You understand that thing right now? Alpa means small, limited. Your knowledge is limited. Can you claim that you know everything about everything? Or can you even claim that you know everything about even a single object? Can you claim that if there is a small little grain of rice, you know this grain of rice completely? Yes, you know it is a grain of rice. Do you know what is its weight? Do you know what are its other physical properties? Do you know its chemical properties? Do you know its biological properties? Do you know what is the genetic of genetics of this little grain of rice? Do you know? Do you even know the history of this grain of rice? So look at that. Even when you take a small little grain of rice, about whom you say, oh, I'm confident I know this, the knowledge is so limited. And therefore, this Jiva, with regards to knowledge, is also here is the one with limited knowledge. And therefore, Alpashyaha. How is he? Alpashyaha. Then there is Parameshwara, Ishvara. How is he? Sarvashyaha. Nothing remains unknown. Nothing is unknown. He knows everything in and out. So therefore, Sarvashyaha. Alpashyaha, Sarvashyaha. Alpashakti, Sarvashakti. Now we already are seeing the difference. Okay. Now you are already seeing the difference. When you are already seeing the difference, will the Veda come and again tell you that you are Jiva? Because don't forget, Veda is the Upanishad Vakyam is Pramana. The Pramana should come not in order to confirm what you have already known. If the Veda comes to confirm what you have already known, it is not a Pramana. Because Pramana should make you know something that was unknown. You already know. And if it comes and tells you that what is already known, it will not be considered to be a Pramana. It will become an Anuvadaka. What will it become? Anuvadaka. It is just reiterating what you have already known. It is a conformist. It confirms. Okay. I have said this, so also that fellow has said that. That's it. Nothing more. Therefore, when this Upanishad Vakyam comes into the picture, it is going to show you something that was unknown. Bheda is known. The difference is already known by you. That is how you are working around, calling yourself as Alpa. So difference is known. I am Alpa. And there is Ishvara who is Sarvashya. Then the Veda Vakya comes and tells you that and this is one and the same. That means Paramatma, Ishvara, that. Sarvajna Sarvashakti. Alpajna Alpashakti is one. So what difference was already known to you, okay, is being experienced by you. The Veda Vakya comes, interrupts, and tells there is no difference, is one. So not oneness was known to you? No. Now it is making you know it is one. And therefore, at least the first condition for it to be a pramana is being fulfilled. The Vakyam is a pramana. It should make you know something that is unknown. What is it making you know now? Oneness. Did you know it before? No. So at least the first condition for it to be a pramanam is getting fulfilled. What is that condition? Something that is anadhigata, that was unknown. And now, even if you thought that, well, I can know the oneness even without the Veda, without this Vakyam Tattvamasi, how? You tell us. Through which means will you know? Through eyes, Pratyaksha Pramanas, through the Indriyas will you know? Through inference will you know? Inference works this way. Understand? Have patience with over here. Okay? Why patience? Because we are not in a hurry to complete the book or anything. We want clarity about this topic. Okay? How does inference work? The whole body of science is inference. It is inferential knowledge. It is inferential knowledge. Whether it is physics or any other branch of science, is inferential. Okay? How is inference built? Okay? So there is inference, and then through the inference, inferential knowledge comes. This inference we are going to say is, technically we will call it vyapti. What will we call? Vyapti. Kya hai term? Vyapti. Note it down. Hopefully people over there, you have woken up and you're sitting properly, not half sleepy or anything. Oh. Okay. Vyapti. So, you had seen the relationship between smoke and fire in your kitchen. In the olden days, firewood used to be there. So, kitchen, you have seen. And you have seen it on several occasions that wherever there is fire, wherever there is smoke, there is fire. Yatra yatra dhumaha, tatra tatra vahnihi. Vahni means fire. Yatra yatra dhumaha, dhuma is dhuma, smoke. Yatra yatra dhumaha, tatra tatra vahnihi. Vahni means fire. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. Not the other way around. Wherever there is fire, there is smoke. Ye nahi hota. Because you can have fire which is smokeless, but you cannot have smoke which is fireless. Okay? That's why these days they have this camphor also. Smokeless camphor. It is useless, not smokeless. Then, now next. Because it does not even have a proper flame, does it have any fragrance also. What is the use of that camphor? Okay, then what has happened is, you see smoke rising from a mountain at distance. And the distance is quite a bit of distance, let us say 5 miles. You're away from the mountain, 5 miles you're away. You still are able to see the smoke rising from the mountain, but you cannot see the fire. So fire is not perceived, the flames are not seen, or the heat is not felt by your skin. And therefore you cannot know the fire, but you know what? Smoke. And then your statement is there is fire in the mountain. Hey, how did you know there is fire? What has allowed you to know the fire? So direct perception is not the means through which you have seen the fire. So this is not the means which has generated the knowledge of fire. What has generated the knowledge of fire is the earlier knowledge which you have already vyapti, which has taken place. The relationship between fire and smoke, or the smoke and fire. Now, therefore, when you see this smoke, that inference will work, generating the inferential knowledge there is fire. So there is fire in the mountain is an inferential knowledge. What has allowed the earlier vyapti? So some rule is already seen by you, a pre-established rule. Then when that is applied, you are able to infer. So this is how this whole thing is, inferential knowledge. This inference is also not responsible for you to know the oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. For you to know the oneness through inference, you will have to see it somewhere else. So you will have to see some other Ishvara and some other Jiva and their oneness. But is there anything like that? Another Ishvara and another Jiva and then the oneness. And now, therefore, when I am a Jiva and there is Ishvara, therefore oneness. Is there anything like that? Therefore, even this is not inferential knowledge. But it is, this knowledge is therefore generated only by the sentence Tattvamasi. Is generated by the knowledge, is generated by the Pramanam Tattvamasi. Now, in order, so the first condition is fulfilled for it to be a Pramana. Something is unknown and now it is becoming known. Oneness was not known before, now you are knowing it. The second thing about for the Pramana to be there is that by that means should not get refuted. Should not get refuted, falsified, nullified, negated. If it gets negated, then that is not a pramana. You understand? If it can be negated, it cannot be called as a pramana. We are saying this vakyam, Tattvamasi, is a pramana. Now, whatever knowledge that it has generated should not get falsified. What knowledge did it generate? Oneness. According to the Siddhanti, the knowledge that it has generated is oneness. The Purva Paksha says, sir, this is not true. This is not true because Tat and Tvam, Jiva and Ishvara are different, is already established by Pramana. The difference is Pratyaksha Siddha. He is not saying that the difference is Shruti Siddha. There is going to be a different line of discussion over there. He says it is pratyaksham. I am limited. It is known. It is pratyaksha to me. It is directly known to me. It is an immediate knowledge. And pratyaksha need not be knowledge generated by the organs always. There is manas pratyaksha, sakshi pratyaksha. Okay, like indriya pratyaksha is there. So there is sakshi pratyaksha also. This is sakshi pratyaksha, known to you directly. Now, therefore, whatever knowledge this vakyam is generating is already cancelled, negated, denied, nullified, and therefore now it will not become a pramana. Then the second thing is, if it is still a pramana, it means something else. The vakyam is not showing the non-difference, but it may be showing something that is different, and it still will be pramana. Because now what that vakyam is showing is not contradicted by other and cancelled by other pramana. You understand what is happening? Huh? No. Huh? Okay. 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 Pramana. So he says that it is not showing non-difference, it is not showing non-difference. Because the difference is already established by other pramana. By other pramana, pratyaksha pramana. How will you now deny that? Another thing that he's saying is, suppose if you say that like ghata, okay, let us consider ghata. Ghata means a pot. Ghata has an attribute. Okay, ghata has an attribute. Like there are various attributes. The ghata, the pot is round, the pot is 2 kgs, the pot is red in color. The pot can contain 2 liters of water. Its capacity is 2 liters. Okay, these are the attributes of the pot. Like that, there is another attribute also, one more attribute to the pot, and that is the pot has potness. Pot has potness. Is not that. If the potness was not there, would it be called as pot? So that because of which this object is called as pot is the quality of potness being present over there. Nahi samjhe? Okay, I will make it little more. Now, this is a pot. Let us say, with this same amount of clay, same volume of clay, you now break the pot. Okay. Now, what do you have? Just a lump of clay. And now you create a saucer, a plate, out of the same clay. Is it a pot now? Can you call the same material as pot? Why are you not calling the same material as pot? Why are you not? It is the same 2 kgs of clay. Why aren't you calling this material as pot now? Then again, you break that plate or the saucer and you create a pot again. Now you are calling it a pot. Why is this a pot now? What happened in between these two events that you refuse to call it a pot over here? Why? Because whatever that was, it did not have potness. And therefore, whenever you are going to say a pot, that will have the necessary condition, the necessary quality, attribute of potness in it. So pot has potness. Correct? Pot has potness and butter has butterness, patatvam, clothness. Pot is ghata and butter is cloth. Clothness in it. Now, this fellow says, who the Purva Pakshi is already assuming that what is going to be your argument. He already is assuming what is going to be your argument. If this is the argument that you are going to put, then he already refutes it even before you put it. Okay? Iti chet, like that. He says that you are going to say, let us remove the potness from the pot and let us remove the clothness from the cloth. So now when that which was creating the difference between pot and cloth was potness and clothness, when this is removed, these attributes are removed, then there is nothing to create a difference. When there is no difference, that means there is non-difference. If this is the kind of argument that you are going to put, then it is not acceptable. Why not acceptable? Not because it is some God's command, prophet has commanded. It is not acceptable because this difference is pramana siddha. You can put up an argument, but that which is established through the means of knowledge, no amount of such kind of logic or anything is ever going to refute it. So what is more powerful? Pramana. Your logic, etc., is not going to work against it. What is pramana siddham cannot be challenged by your twisted logic or anything. And therefore he says this Veda is pramana siddham. You cannot do this away. Okay. And therefore, this Vakyam, which Vakyam? Tattvamasi Vakyam, is not showing Abheda. Therefore, the Tattvamasi Vakyam is not showing Abheda. Then what is it showing? We are not talking about it. What it may show. But we are saying, we in the sense that Purva Pakshi says, what are we saying? It is definitely not showing Abheda. Got that whole point? Now this is the case, and therefore now we will have to do the vichar. If you look at this sentence, then that sentence is already showing Abheda. What will be the literal meaning of the sentence? Tattvamasi. Tat is Tvam and Tvam is Tat. Asi means is a verb here. Asi is, or over here it will be in English, it will be translated are. You are that. So you are that will be in two ways. You are that. So turn it around. That is you. So that is you, and you is that. Tvam is that. Tat is tvam. And therefore, though words are different, the object indicated by two different words is same. Words are different, tat and tvam, but the object indicated by both the words is same, one. So when there is one, a difference is not there, and therefore it is showing abheda. So directly this is what we come to understand. This is how the brain works, analyzes, and sees it. But he says, no, this is not that easy. What has happened is the components of that sentence, which is tat and tvam, tat is sarvashya, tvam is alpashya. Sarvashakti, alpashakti cannot be called as one. Cannot be called as one because this is the difference, and this difference is pramana. Now, in order to retain the pramanyam of this sentence, you will have to say that this sentence does not mean to show the non-difference, but it has got a different meaning. When it is done, heard, what is it? What meaning does it deliver to you? Non-difference. But on an analysis, how can these two be non-different? Because the difference is pramana siddham, already established through a different pramana. Okay. How is it going to be possible? You cannot say that remove the attributes. When the attributes are removed, it will that which was causing the difference is not there, and therefore there is no difference, and hence there is abheda. Like that you cannot. Now we have to see how the Siddhanti brings his own explanation. All right. Siddhanti, in the first place, he admits that the words Tat and Tvam mean Jiva and Ishvara. Okay. The meaning of the words Tat and Tvam is Jiva and Ishvara. So the immediate meaning of the words, which is Jiva and Ishvara, non-difference is not possible over here. But these words have an implied meaning too. The words have an implied meaning. So abheda is not possible in the vachyarth, in the spoken meaning. But abheda, the non-difference, is possible in the implied meaning. the words not everywhere, in certain cases. Okay, not every time the implied meaning will be there. Where you can work with the direct meaning, you need not bring the implied to generate any knowledge. Then the implied meaning has to come into picture. Okay? Then somebody says, well, this student is a brilliant star. He is a brilliant star. What? Then you have plucked him from the sky and kept in your classroom or what? Huh? He is a star means what? After some years, he will become black hole. This is a star. What do you mean by that? So you do not mean by the words, you mean to say that this fellow is brilliant. Intelligent, quickly, grabs it quickly. So he is brilliant. Applied meaning for the word star. But when I say sun is a star, does it mean that sun is a student in my class? It does not. You need not bring that kind of a thing. Sun is a star means sun is a illuminous body, self-illuminous body. Not like moon or planets or any other things. So when will the implied meaning be brought into picture? When the literal meaning does not work. Okay, literal meaning does not work. Vachartha does not work. We are saying, the Siddhanti is saying that the Abheda is not possible where in the Vachartha. But in the implied meaning, Abheda takes place. This is the first line. Tattvam padavachayoho, Vishishtayoho. Both of them are Vishishta. You understand the meaning of the word Vishishta now? I will tell you again. This is, sometimes it really becomes really difficult. You really don't know the people are over there, some sitting where in different cities, places. Are they sleeping or listening? Are they bored or just keeping on and gone to toilet or something? That's why, Goswami Tulsidas ji has said over there, Swanta Sukhaya Tulasi Raghunatha Gatha. Why are you writing Ramayana? Then Tulsidas ji says, Swanta Sukhaya. I don't know what is going to happen to the others, but it is meant for my own satisfaction. Whether others like it or not, whether others understand it or not, Swanta Sukhaya. Anyway, I will also consider Swanta Sukhaya only. And it is good also. Swanta Prabodhaya. Swantas Prabodhanaya Abhishek Pravachanana. Okay, now understand again a red rose. When one says red rose, how many words are there? So the word rose is a substantive and red is an adjective. Okay. Rose is Visheshya. What will you call it? Visheshya. And red is Visheshan. Okay. Red is Visheshan. You understand the difference? These are words, different words. Visheshana and Visheshya. Visheshana plus Visheshya makes it Vishishta. Now, whenever you are going to say red rose, it is Vishishta. How is it? It is already with the attribute. So now, when you are going to say Ishvara, how is this Ishvara? What is the Visheshana? Sarvashya. Sarvashyatva, sorry. Ishvara is Sarvashya and his Visheshana is Sarvashyatva. So this Ishvara is Vishishta with Sarvashyatva. Jiva is Vishishta with Alpashyatva. So Alpashyatva, Sarvashyatva are Visheshanas with which the Jiva, Ishvara are. Now those, whatever that Jiva and Ishvara is, they are Vishishta. Okay, Vishishta. So we are saying in the Vishishta, Abheda is not possible. In the Vishishta, Abheda is not possible. This Vishishta is the Vakshartha. Lakshartha yoho Abheda Sambhavati eva. And that what is implied by these words. Okay. Now, therefore, we are taking the implied meaning. Now we are not taking the literal meaning. The literal meaning is Vishishta. Sarvashyatvena Vishishtaha, Alpashyatvena Vishishtaha. We are not taking. But what is implied over there, Abheda is possible. Then comes, he gives an example, how Abheda is possible. If you drop the literal meaning. If you drop the literal meaning, and how is that literal meaning? Vishishta. Understand? How is the literal meaning? Vishishta. The example is Soyam Devadatta. We will complete this part today. Okay? If it takes another 3-5 minutes more, please bear with me. Soyam Devadattaha. Saha Devadattaha. That Devadatta. And then this Devadatta. I am Devadattaha. This Devadatta. So when you are going to say that Devadatta, then that Devadatta is having the attributes brought by the word that. That means distant, away in time and space. So therefore, that Devadatta means he is Vishishta with Tat Desha, Tat Kal. That time and that space. This Devadatta, how is he? With this time, he has the attributes of this time and this place. Vishishta. But when we are going to say that Devadatta is this Devadatta, what have you done? What is done? How do you understand this? So therefore, now you are not even considering this and that. You are only considering Devadatta. That Devadatta is one. But what was creating the difference? The attributes of this and that. If you just take these two words differently, this Devadatta and that Devadatta, would it not mean two different people? This Devadatta, that Devadatta. But when you are able to leave the attributes, now oneness is possible. Oneness is possible. Sahadevadatta will become one with attributes of that time, that space. This Devadatta with attributes of this time and this space. So in Vachyartha, you cannot have the oneness. But Devadatta is already one only. What did you not know? That Devadatta and this Devadatta is one. So this sentence is doing the job. That Devadatta is this Devadatta. You meet a person, some person, after let us say 10, 15 years, and he has significantly changed. Devadatta, now he was a young boy, he did not have Dadi Mooch. Now forget Dadi Mooch, even his hair is also lost. Chandama, ये कैसे ऐसे समझेंगे बीच में बोल रहे हैं? अरे Mrs. Seth, your mic is on.
In so many years, only objectives for God.
Then what? Soyam Devadatta. When the oneness was possible to cognize that Devadatta is one, when the attributes were not considered, when the attributes were not attributes of Tad Desha Tat Kala Etat Desha Etat Kala were not considered. So when the attributes are not considered, oneness is possible. True. That fellow already has raised an objection. He says that there cannot be this condition where you are dislodging the attributes. He already has put up that argument, because knowing that you are going to say this, that it is not possible to dislodge the attributes and then say it is one. Because otherwise Ghata and Pata will be one according to you. The attributes of the Ghata is Ghatatvam, the attribute of the Pata is Patatvam. Potness and cloggedness. So if you say that attributes can be dislodged, cannot, you can just ignore it, and oneness is possible. Can we ignore the attributes? It is ghata and pata and say ghata and pata because there is no difference now. Can you do that? No. He has already put up that argument. And what have you said? The Siddhanti has said that attributes can be dislodged, or you can manage to ignore the attributes. Taddesha tatkala, etaddesha etatkala. These attributes can be not considered, and then oneness is possible. He says, no, you cannot do this. And therefore, Jiva and Ishvara, who are Vishishta, will remain Vishishta and will be always different, will not be one. So Veda will be there. We are saying, no, the sentence is showing Abheda. And therefore, how does that sentence shows Abheda, though they are Vishishta? How does that happen? So we said, Vachartha is Vishishta. But that what is implied, Lakshartha, is not Vishishta. And because since in Lakshartha, since in the implied meaning, this Vishisht, they are not Vishishta, so therefore the difference which is created because of the Visheshanas is not there, it is one. This is how we are going to do that. But he has already put an impediment in between about Ghatatva, Patatva, and then how can that be? So we have to answer that before we proceed ahead. So let us see this part when we meet tomorrow morning again. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Thank you all. Today is what? Wednesday.